Have you seen those endless art videos where people are zooming and zooming and zooming and zooming and zooming and zooming? And each time it's just a new painting and another one and another one? That's what I want to try today. I have always wondered how it can be done, so I guess let's go. Hey people, it's Temi if you're new here. It feels like ages that I've said that. I'm so excited to be back. Today I'm digging up my iPad again. I bought this iPad over a year ago to do digital art. Ask me how many digital art pieces I've done. Yeah, one. The one I tried in that video. But tell a lie, I've actually used Procreate to do other things. I started this lips drawing on the plane one time. And I did this one when I was trying to figure out my positioning before I bought that shelf. But anyway, I've not used it for the things I wanted to use it for. So it's high time I tried digital art again. And what better thing to try than 100 drawings in one? The first thing I need to do is to find an app. I've heard about one called Endless Paper. So I'm just gonna download that. I'm sorry, look at these reviews. For an app that's not free to have these many bad reviews, do I really want it? Doesn't work, horrible, utter rubbish. Okay, so I'm still gonna get it. Will I regret this? Famous last words. So now I'm gonna play around with the app, just see what some of the features are saying. Playing around with the app, I just want a sense of what each of these tools do. I've got a pen tool, a highlighter tool, brush tool. Am I gonna be able to blend? Are these the only colors I can have? But now trying the zoom, because that's obviously the main selling point of this app over other ones like Procreate. And the zoom seems to work really well. Like you can barely see the blue when I zoom out, but when I zoom in, you can just create something magical and amazing. This eraser tool, I don't know. I don't think this is okay. Now, just drawing a very quick sketch of an eye, you know, the basic eye everybody can do. And into the eye, let's try to zoom. What should we draw inside this eye? I played with the pencil tool quite a bit, so time to play with the brush tool. I'm noticing that I don't have different brush sizes, which feels like a weird limitation to have with this app. But honestly, I'm just scribbling to see where this takes me, trying different colors. Another thing is, it doesn't look like this app has layering functions. And for anyone that's done any digital art, like even just using Photoshop, you know that working in layers is an absolute key. Being able to start a new layer just in case you mess things up and then delete the layer if you don't want it anymore, or blend the layer to the next one. There's so many cool features that you can do with layering. And from what I remember from Procreate, you can use layers really well there as well. So the fact that this is all one flat sheet, in some ways, it reminds me more of traditional art, which isn't a bad thing, but in other ways, it's a bit disappointing. Ooh, okay, wait, you can change the thickness. I'm only realizing this watching this back now. What caught my attention first and foremost was the color wheel. So it's great to see that I can actually change the colors, but it's only as I'm editing the video that I can see that you can change the thickness of the brush pen. So sorry. I bet people that know Endless Paper were like screaming at their screen. Sorry for bashing it. I had no idea you actually could. I have no idea how I got that toolbar out. And I guess in the future, if I do another video using this, I'll have to try it out. But yeah, here my flower doodle, and now zooming out, we've got the eye. Okay, and it's so interesting because you can't see the flowers at all. And zooming out even more, we've got the random blue that I have in the text zoom. And again, you can't see anything, which is just mind-boggling. And zooming all the way out, we've got the initial doodles that I was doing. This seems like such a cool tool. And now I'm excited to explore what can we come up with. Before I continue, I need to change my screen protector. As a traditional artist typically used to working on paper or on a canvas, it's so difficult to get in the swing of doing digital art on an iPad. So shout out to Paperlike for sponsoring this video. They sent me the new Paperlike 2.1, which I'm so excited to try. I've had my previous screen protector for as long as I've had my iPad, and it was okay, but it was a little bit grainy. The resolution just wasn't the best. But with the Paperlike 2.1, I noticed a huge difference with the clarity and visibility. Because they understand, you're not just using your iPad to draw or to write. Me personally, I'm watching Netflix on there, I'm watching YouTube on there. So I don't want my screen protector to to hinder me from doing those things. And the technology is more transparent because of the nano dot spacing, which are the small microbeads on the surface of the screen protector. This is what really makes it feel like paper. Dragging my Apple Pencil across the screen, I can really feel the extra resistance. I know I mentioned that I haven't used my iPad much for actual drawing, but writing, I actually use a digital planner now since I stopped bullet journaling. That's another story. And this really feels amazing to write on. I also picked up the pencil grip. It's a nice and comfortable grip. And the best part is that this pencil sticks to the side of the iPad like normal. So the little case doesn't affect the magnet from the pencil to the iPad. It's really good. Anyway, I'm excited to draw now. So if you'd like to give Paperlike 2.1 a try, use my affiliate link down in the description box. It's at no extra cost to you, but will support me and my channel. So thank you in advance. And I think it's time to storyboard. Because I can go in an infinite amount of directions, pun intended, I just want to brainstorm. I want to understand where to start. So I'm using Miller notes just to jot down some ideas. It's like, should I go like cartoons, like drawing, that kind of thing? Even like telling a story, like a story for a movie or series, when you zoom into another part and then it's like another scene for a movie. I think that would be really cool. Or should I tell a story about my life, myself? Like, I recently became a gym babe, guys. I've been waking up 5 a.m. to go to the gym every morning, hence my lack of consistency, but we can talk about that another time. So should I use this as a freeze frame of my current state, my current life? Does that mean doing a digital art self-portrait? I don't know that I want to do that. I don't know that I want to do that. I don't know that I can do a digital art portrait, period. Okay, time to brainstorm. One thing I've always wanted to draw is food. I think food illustrations always look so cool, and I've always been interested in trying to render them. So what if I drew like a block of cheese, you know, like the cartoony type, and then we go through the cheese and then we see a lasagna, and then we go through the lasagna and then we go into pizza, and then we go through the pizza and we go into tomato pasta. Is this making anybody else feel hungry? Or what if I do explore portraits? And I know I mentioned, I don't know if I'm ready, but my channel is all about challenging myself. And what if we're going through the eye of each one? So imagine a whole family portrait, but the next portrait is through the eye of the previous one. Or the evolution of one person. So we start with their baby picture and we go through the eye, and then they're a toddler through the eye, and then they're a teenager from toddler to teenager through the eye, and then they're an adult through the eye, and then they're a mother, they're a grandmother. I think that would be so cool. Or what if we explore a romantic story? So two people meet and then we're going through their journey through different parts of the piece. My brain is bursting full of ideas, which is why I love doing this mind mapping stage. Let's get it all down on paper and figure out where to go with this. And now that I've got the mind map together, it'll be great to bounce off one of these to actually create a storyboard. I'm using a storyboard template from Millernote. By the way, guys, Millernote is free. And now I just want to explore what this story I'm going to tell will look like. So I guess we could start with a room shot, a quick illustration of a desk at the corner of a room. And then we can go into the laptop screen. And it's the whole beach scene. Like, it looks like a wallpaper, something that if you're just looking at this piece, you're not going to think twice about. But when we go into the beach, maybe there's a house on this beach. So I'm just gathering random reference pictures. These are not the pictures I'll be working from, just to generate ideas. But we could potentially go through the window of a house and into a living room that has loads of bookshelves. And then we go into one of the books, and then it's a book cover. Initially, I was trying to find a book cover with the Eiffel Tower on it, because I think that would be quick and easy to illustrate. But I can't find one I like. So I found this book cover, which is a book I'm actually currently reading. Love and Colour, amazing book. And I think that would be an awesome end. So this would just be a quick 5-shot kind of thing. I'm not going to be too strict with it, but let's get illustrating. Guys, I am nervous. And if you're familiar with my channel, you know that when am I not nervous? But digital art is a new kind of fear. And that's simply because, unlike other types of art, like acrylic painting or gouache, things I haven't really done before, I still have some experience of holding a paintbrush and mixing colors. My proficiency level might not be great, but at least I've tried it in some way before, whether that was at school or a random sip and paint. But in contrast, drawing on an iPad is just not a normal thing that you would have tried. And actually, at schools, do they have digital art as one of the things that you can explore, like going through primary school and secondary school? I'd be really curious to know, so please let me know if you do know. But I think that's what brings the fear. But the great thing is, at least for the start of this illustration, I just want to do a quick black and white kind of drawing. So using the pencil tool, literally like a pencil. So just doing small sketches. Of course, it's not the same. Using the eraser tool is not the same as using a real eraser. But I'm being kind of rough with this sketch because it doesn't need to be very detailed. I'm actually not interested in using any color right now. And maybe that will change for some of the future zooms, but I think this rough sketch kind of look, I'm really digging it. Actually guys, do you want a video of me just using pencil or just using biro, just doing like a full sketching kind of video? Let me know, because I think that would be so interesting. But I'm doing the same basic thing of a desk with a computer screen and a cute plant next to it. That plant is looking a lot healthier than the plants I've got in my house. If you watched my green coloring book video, you saw hints of my plants, and some of them were worse for wear, but we move. And now that I've got the basic sketch done, so a little bookshelf ledge on the side, we've got the desk and we've got the computer screen. So this is where I'm going to attempt my beach. And this is where my regrets for this piece starts. This app kind of reminds me of Draw Something. I don't know if this is an app that's familiar to you, but as you can see, I'm drawing this like I'm drawing a small illustration on a screen and not actually zooming into it to draw a full-blown beach scene. I hope that makes sense. But the concept of the app is really throwing me off because in real life, I will never be able to completely zoom in to anything to be able to create a masterpiece in there. So I've started with just blocking out shapes. And of course, as I said earlier, at this point, I didn't even know that I could change the brush size. So I'm just doing, this house that is going to house the window that I'm going to zoom into next. I'm doing just scribbles to signify the trees. The ocean right now is just a blob of blue, just trying to really block the colors down. But when I zoom out, I'm not mad at how this looks on the screen. However, because I know that I'm gonna need enough detail so that when I go into it, it makes sense, I'm gonna need to go into it. And now as I'm zooming more and more into this thing, I'm able to add more and more bits of detail. But remember I said I didn't know I could change the brush size. So what I realized though is the more I zoom in, the smaller the default brush is. So I am able to get more of the line strokes and more of the details. So I'm adding some detail into the trees and now trying to quickly work on the house. But something about this house always looked a bit off to me. If you haven't noticed, my natural sketching style is quite sketchy, so I never have one smooth stroke. So because of that, none of my edges are refined. And this is something that is very important for digital art, especially vector-like illustrations. So all of the extra sketch lines I would have if I'm working on paper and my kind of default way of working is not going to work for this piece. But now I'm just trying to zoom in, add detail, add rails that did not even exist in my reference picture. Just trying to add some texture to get this house together. But at the moment, I am not liking this. And now I want to use this front door white space as the space to draw the entire living room in, and I really struggled to find a reference that would make sense in here because we're looking through this glass door or window or whatever, and it needs to make sense that it's the inside of the house that we're seeing. But all of the references that I could find were showing it from a random other angle that really wouldn't make sense, or would show it with another window on the side, which again wouldn't make sense for the positioning of this window. So I struggled. And honestly, after the strong start we had with the pencil sketch, kind of office and the computer screen, I'm really disappointed with my use of colors here. Part of it falls down to not having tools to be able to blend the colors together, not being able to use any opacity tools, not being able to work in layers. Everything is just a challenge at this point. So now I'm thinking maybe I can use a window in this shed that's on the side of the White House. Maybe I can go into that to create something. But I really wish this app had some tools, like a circle tool, straight line tool, because my circles, trust me, are only going to get worse from here. Stay tuned to the end of the video to see that. But as quick as I'm starting this idea, I am giving up. I think it's time for a break and time to come back with a clear head tomorrow.
The next day.
I still really have no idea what to do. From afar, I actually like the way this beach scene looks, but up close, I'm not feeling any of the details, or rather the lack of details. So I'm going to spend some time adding some details into the water, and I just want to see where this takes me. As you might be able to tell, I'm not going for a super realistic style because it's literally not possible for me with my limited knowledge of this app and no blending tools, no nothing. I like the shadows I have in here. I love the sparkle of highlight. So I'm really happy with this. And now I'm thinking, instead of trying to draw something inside one of these houses, let me just draw a bird. So I'm drawing this blue diamond bird. I've started by doing the sketch in white, and this is what I'm saying about my default way of working is quite rough with my sketch. But also you can see that the tool has like these vertical lines across it because the limitations to do with the smoothness of the brushes is quite disappointing. The point is for me to be able to zoom in ad infinitum. So if I'm trying to do that and then each of the strokes are a bit funny, I don't know about that. But I'm loving this bird so far, just applying the colors. And even though I'm not able to use any blending tools, I'm just kind of layering the colors and going gradually lighter, gradually darker to provide the shadows and the highlights that I need. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I love this bird. And guys, honestly, how good does this bird look? And now I'm feeling like, let's zoom into the eye of the bird. Let's zoom into one of these highlighted points, which is just a grey. And I mentioned earlier that I really wanted to draw food. So I'm gonna draw a rainbow cake. I think that'll be a really cool way to just try loads of different colors, try to add small detail, and hopefully make something that kind of makes sense. This cream at the top of the cake was a hot mess, a hot ass mess. Because again, I didn't have the right colors, so I could only really use the grays, and I'm trying to use the warm grays, but really I need cream. And also the reference picture kind of cut off halfway through the top, so whatever swirl you're seeing was made up. And you guys know I have aphantasia, so I can't make things up. So for that one, it was just a mess. But now, where should we zoom into next? I'm feeling like maybe I should zoom into one of these slices. And what if I zoomed into the yellow slice and drew an emoji? Honestly, I really love this entire concept. If you can't tell, yes, I'm struggling with it and I'm definitely struggling with the app, but I'm having a great time zooming into different parts and trying to figure out what should go there next. So a biggest lesson learned for me is not to be afraid to pivot and change tact. I completely understand the concept of going in with a plan, and in fact I don't think I would ever be able to not go in with a plan because the idea of just having a blank sheet completely overwhelms me. So I just procrastinate till Thy Kingdom Come. A plan definitely grounds me, it gets me on the starting line, but the reality is not everything works according to initial plans, and it doesn't mean your plan was bad. It just means you need to embrace change if it comes. And I love the change that this whole illustration has gone through. So now I'm trying to draw the emoji, and again, not having any sort of blending tool is making it a little bit difficult, or any fill tool or any circle tool. Like, none of these circles make sense. Not a single circle I drew on this emoji makes sense. And an emoji needs to be like perfectly circular. It's very awkward. But in all, I'm very pleased with how the emoji came out. It was very fun to do. I just tried to pick smaller color gradations to create the illusion of a blend. And definitely when you zoom out, I feel like you can't tell all of the nitpicking that I'm doing. And here is how the entire piece turned out. I love the sketch kind of style. If I had more time, I'd definitely put in more detail into this entire office, but I love the sketchly style. And as we zoom in, we go into this beautiful beach, very simple, not that detailed. It always looks like a child did this, honestly. But as we zoom in, we go into the most beautiful bird. Like, guys, I'm sorry, but this bird is the star of the video for me. Let me know what we should name the bird down in the comments. But as we go into the bird, then we see this rainbow cake. That's what the bird is thinking about? A rainbow cake, really? And as we go into the rainbow cake, where is our emoji? That's the one thing about this app. You can lose wherever your next thing is if you're not careful. But there it is. We're just finishing off with my wonky-eyed emoji. And that is it. I'm so happy I tried this. Let me know if you want to see me try another one. And maybe next time I'll do it off prompts from you guys so that I'm not so stuck. But shout out to my patrons. And since you liked this video, you will love this one where I'm trying digital art for the very first time.